Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Short Scary Hmong Stories. If you're into scary stories like me, then you are at the right place. And if you'd like to support my channel, you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and notification bell, so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. With that being said, let's begin. I work as a mortician in an establishment where the deceased rest before their final journey. Little did I know, my encounters here would transcend the boundaries of the living and the dead. I work at a funeral home, an ancient building with a faded facade. I never believed in ghosts, dismissing tales of apparitions and hauntings as mere superstitions. But that night, as I prepared a body for its viewing, a sense of unease crept over me. As I applied makeup to the pale face before me, a soft whisper echoed through the room. At first, I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, a byproduct of working alone in the dead of the night. But the whisper persisted, growing louder with each passing moment until it felt like it was never gonna go away. And then it felt like somebody was standing next to me, their breath so cold on my neck. My hand started to tremble as I reached for the door, desperate to escape the suffocating presence that lingered in the air. But before I could flee, a chilling voice out of the silence sent shivers down my spine. It said, "Stay with me." The word hung in the air like a death note, freezing me in place as I turned to face the source of the voice. There, standing before me, was a figure cloaked in darkness, its features so dark there's no shadow. It just started dancing around me. I wanted to run, to scream for help, but something held me captive, rooted to the spot as the figure drew near. With each step, the air grew colder, and the room seemed to darken, as though consumed by the very sense of death itself. "Who are you?" I managed to yell. The figure said nothing, its eyes piercing into mine with the intensity that sent a chill down my spine. And then, with a voice that seems to echo with the death of the grave, it spoke. "Don't leave me alone here." Those words sent a shock through me, as memories of the funeral home's dark history flooded my mind. Stories whispered in hushed tones of tragedy and loss, of souls trapped between the world and the next, seeking redemption from sins long forgotten. I tried to move, to break free from the freezing gaze, but it was too hard. It was as if I was stuck on the spot. And then, with a sound that chilled me to the core, the figure reached out its hand, its touch like ice on my skin. "Please don't leave me," it whispered, its voice a haunting melody that echoes through the empty halls. I closed my eyes, praying for help from this nightmare that has consumed me. But when I opened them again, the figure was gone, leaving only the cold embrace of the funeral home's silent halls. From that night on, I kind of figured that the person or the figure that was talking to me was probably the person that I was putting makeup on that night. It makes me think, what are the last things that these people thought about before they died? I wonder if their last moments, if they are sad, mad, or happy. I will never know until it's my turn. But until then, I will still keep my job as a mortician and help these people one last time. My name is Emily, and I had recently taken up the position of a funeral home director. Little did I know that this job would scar me for life. On my first night alone in the funeral home, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled over me. The air was thick, with the scent of flowers and embalming fluid, and the dim light casting long shadows that danced along the hallways. As I made my rounds, checking on the bodies laying out for viewing, a chill crept up my spine, sending a shiver down my back. It was as though 1,000 eyes watching me from the darkness, their gaze cold and unyielding. Brushing off the unease, I continue my duties, preparing the bodies with the care and respect. But with each passing hours, the feeling of being watched only grew stronger, until it felt as though the walls were caving in on me. All of a sudden, I heard footsteps outside in the hallway. Who could it be at this time of the night? I scattered up the courage that I had in me and went and opened the door to look outside in the hallway. As I turned to the right, I saw a black shadow turning to the right super fast. I thought maybe an employee hasn't left yet and they were just playing games with me. So I followed that shadow. I got right up to where that shadow turned. And as I looked down that hallway, there was nothing. Just silent, not even a sound. I became confused with what I saw. By brushing it off, I went back to the embalming room. When I got back to the room, I noticed that the person that I was taking care of, the armed, have moved. It was not in the same position before I left. And for those who don't know, when a person dies, they start to stiff up. Their limbs cannot bend or move, unless you move it yourself. When I saw that the deceased's arm has moved, I was really puzzled. How could it have moved when I'm the only one working right now? Right when I was about to move the arm back to its old position, the arm twitched. It started to twitch like crazy. I became so scared I fumbled back. I couldn't believe with what I'm seeing. I quickly rubbed my eyes, and as I looked again, the arm stopped. It stopped moving. I was so shaken up, I didn't know what else to do. Should I continue with my job, or should I just leave home for the night? I had to call another employee to come help me. When he arrived, I told him everything. I was too scared, so I asked him, is he able to cover my shift for the rest of the night? He can tell that I was very scared or shaken up, so he agreed to take the rest of my shift as I went home. The funeral home was hushed as I prepared for the evening's gathering. Soft music filled the air, mingling with the scent of lilies and the faint aroma of incense. Rows of chairs were neatly arranged, waiting to be filled by those who come and pay their respects to the departed. As the mourners began to arrive, I greeted each and every one of them, offering words of comfort as they made their way to their seats. Among them was Mrs. Thompson, a frail woman whose husband has passed away unexpectedly. You can tell on her face that she is still grieving, and I couldn't help but feel a pain of sympathy for her loss. As the service began, I took my place at the front of the room, offering a few words of embracing for the departed. But as I spoke, a chill swept over me, sending a shiver down my spine. It was as though a presence lingered just beyond the edge of my vision. I tried to push aside my unease, focusing instead on the task at hand. But as the service continued, the feeling only grew stronger, until it felt as though somebody was standing right beside me. As I glance over to the casket, I can see the deceased opening his eyes. I swear his eyes were opened. As I continued to blink as hard as I could to make sure that I was not seeing what I saw, the deceased's eyes were still opened, but now his eyeballs were looking right at me. I wasn't able to move, so all I did was just gaze right back at him. As I continued to keep my eyes on him, he started to smile back at me. It freaked me out so bad. I jolted backwards and bumped into another person. They asked me, "Am I okay?" I said, "I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with me right now. I might just need some fresh air."